You guys all talk about the effects you have to deal with, and you talk about the impact of that day. But you guys won. You guys held.
All right, guys, so that's a snippet of the Oscar-worthy performance from Mr. Crying Adam Kinzinger at the January 6th committee. And shout out to whoever made that, right? You're ultra talented. I wish I knew who did it. I would give them credit, right, if I knew who actually made that. But Adam Kinzinger's Oscar-worthy performance and this January 6th committee hearing that basically really is just a show, right? It's literally a show between the Democrats and the mainstream liberal media to try to continuously talk about January 6th every single day for the rest of our lives. And the reason that you know this, guys, is because the committee has 9 members and only 2 of them are Republicans. And the 2 Republicans that's on the committee are Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, right? 2 people who've essentially kicked themselves out of the Republican Party, right? So it's basically 9 Democrats, right, on the committee. But yeah, they're trying to say this is bipartisan, right? Bipartisan, totally fair. You're going to get the truth. Now, this video, guys, I want to focus on Adam Kinzinger, right? Because in his Oscar-worthy performance, he basically tried to say that what happened on January 6th, you can't compare that to BLM, right? The riots and the looting and the burning down of buildings that happened all last year. Oh, no. They're not the same, right? That you can't compare the two. And I really want to respond to this because I'm happy that somebody actually brought this up at this committee, right? And I really want to get into it because I think all these people are being fake, right? They're fake, okay? The fact that they can't see this. But before I get into that, let's roll the clip of Adam Kinzinger's drawn-out Oscar-worthy performance.
We go after the criminals. Some have concocted a counter-narrative to discredit this process on the grounds that we didn't launch a similar investigation into the urban riots and looting last summer. Mr. Chairman, I was called on to serve during the summer riots as an Air National Guardsman. I condemn those riots and the destruction of property that resulted. But not once did I ever feel that the future of self-governance was threatened like I did on January 6th. There is a difference between breaking the law and rejecting the rule of law, between a crime, even grave crimes, and a coup. As we begin our work today, I want to call this committee's attention to the oath of office, an oath not to a party, not to an individual, but to the Constitution that represents all Americans. Everyone in elected office knows how hard it can be sometimes to keep that oath, to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States in the forefront of our minds, what with the political pressures and re-elections always around the corner. But, Mr. Chairman, our witnesses today, like every law enforcement officer across the country.
So he acknowledges that riots last year, right, the Antifa riots last year, he acknowledges, oh yeah, they're bad, but there's a difference between breaking the law and rejecting the rule of law. Wait. So isn't purposely breaking the law by definition rejecting the rule of law? Right? A lot of these people are calling for law enforcement to be removed, okay, from their neighborhoods and to take down our law enforcement system. Is that not by definition what rejecting the rule of law is? Again, this is a semantics game. You know damn well that what happened last year is rejection of law, right? But because it was done in the name of social justice, it's okay. And because he doesn't want to be called racist for criticizing them. And my problem with this whole narrative is that the Democrats do this for literally every single incidence of left-wing violence. For example, the Kavanaugh protests. You had Democrat politicians out here supporting protesters, mostly women, at the Capitol, trying to break into the Supreme Court building to stop the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh. You have Kamala Harris out here saying, we will not be bullied. while protesters, rioters are saying, lock him up, lock him up. But you're trying to sit here and try to tell me, oh, no. You can't compare that to January 6th. You can't compare it. And there's actually a USA Today fact check that says, oh, it lacks context. And if you read it, it said, well, the main difference is that they didn't actually break into the Supreme Court. They didn't actually get in. So what would have happened if they would have got in? What do you think? You think they would have bought Brett Kavanaugh lunch? Okay? You think they weren't trying to stop a democratic process? You don't think they were trying to stop the rule of law? They were. That's exactly what they were doing. And see, the reason how I know all these people are fake, the reason how I know they're fake and how I know it's all BS is that somebody like me could come out here and tell you with a straight face what happened on January 6th was wrong. It's probably one of the worst days in Republican Party history. I wish it never happened. I think it's going to do nothing but damage conservatives. I think it damaged the conservative movement. I think it was bad. I don't condone it whatsoever. But I also can come out here and tell you with a straight face that the BLM/Antifa riots of last year were one of the worst riots periods that we've ever gone through. It cost us $1.2 billion in damage. Lots of people lost their lives, including innocent people, innocent officers, and people's neighborhoods were terrorized. I can come out here and tell you with a straight face that both of those things are bad. The Democrats plus the Democrat lights, Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney, they can't do that. They can't do it. They have to just take January 6th, again, which I've said is bad, right? I don't think it was good. And they have to make that out to be literally the worst thing in the world when just a few months prior, we witnessed our country burn, right? It was on TV every single day. But you're trying to tell me that you're not biased, that this isn't a show. Guys, this is a joke. This January 6th committee is a joke. It really is. And I gotta say, man, like I said before, the Republicans are partially to blame for this, because every Democrat should be trying to openly defend and tell us the difference between what happened last year and January 6th. They should all be doing what Adam Kinzinger is doing. Because at the very least, they're acknowledging that it happened. They're acknowledging that it's wrong. Democrats don't even have to acknowledge that it's wrong. They don't even have to acknowledge that it's wrong. Because the Republican Party has been so weak on this issue. They've been terrible on this. The fact that from day one, they were not demanding a commission to look into what happened last year. The fact that they weren't demanding that and saying, no, we cannot move forward without that. We want an investigation of January 6th, but we want to investigate everything. The fact that they were not saying that from the get-go is how they lost on this issue, because they continuously made the conversation about January 6th instead of making it about all the political violence. Instead of making it about what happened last year. Democrats don't even have to acknowledge Antifa as a group. They say it's an idea and they can get away with it, even though it's clearly an organized group. Clearly. Because the Republicans have been weak. If Nancy Pelosi can set up a commission like this, why can't the Republicans set up a commission just like this in which you interview police officers and black business owners whose buildings and businesses have been burned down by these riots last year? Oh, I think that would get a lot of people's ears. I think that if you did that and you said, listen, do you see this business owner who happens to be black, whose business was burned down by these riots and protests last year? These things that you guys funded, and created bail funds to bail out and drop the charges against them. You want to sit here and tell this business owner that nothing happened last year? That you don't want to investigate? That you don't want to prevent this from happening again? That's justified? Do you want to tell that person this? The same way they rolled out the cops, right? The Capitol police officers to put on their sob story. They should roll out the business owners that were affected last year and roll out their sob stories. Get the police officers who had to deal with that last year. Roll out their sob stories. Speaking of police, how the Republicans handled this whole Capitol Police thing They dropped the ball on that too. Because all they had to do is say, we do support our police officers. And because we support our police officers, we're wondering, why did Nancy Pelosi not have more police officers there to support you guys? Why weren't you guys more supported by Nancy Pelosi before all this happened? Especially if we had intel that led us to believe that, this could possibly be an issue. See, that's what you got to say. And then you follow up and you say, see, this is just another example of how the Democrats don't support our police. They didn't support our Capitol police officers because if there was adequate forces there, then they wouldn't have broke in the first place. But because she failed to do that, it happened. And also on top of that, again, this comes out the whole summer of rioting and looting, right? In which the Democrats failed to acknowledge, and they also failed to support our police doing that as well. See, the Democrats, whether it comes to violence on the left or the right, they want a lawless country. Because every time it comes to supporting police, they fail. Matter of fact, it's worse than failing. They condemn the police. Remember, guys, they told us that the police were bad people all last year. Now you believe that they all of a sudden support police now? Or is it just a political show? Are they using these police officers as pawns? And as the party of law and order, okay, we want to protect everybody. We're not just concerned about protection for ourselves like the Democrats are. Notice how they did nothing after the riots and protests last year. Matter of fact, they tried to tell you guys that it didn't exist. Okay? But after what happened on January 6th, they brought in the National Guard, made them sleep in parking decks. Okay, they built up a fence after they said walls don't work. Okay, they made sure that they were protected, but they did nothing to protect you, your business, your neighborhood, your close friends and families, your law enforcement, when they had left-wing rioters and looters terrorizing cities all last year, simply because they wanted Trump out of office. Think about that. The Democrats used you and allowed violence to enter your neighborhood, allowed your police officers to be put in danger, allowed your friends and family to be put in danger, simply to get Trump out of office, simply to get an election outcome that they wanted. Bruh, that's how you frame stuff, guys, right? That's how you play the framing game. Democrats are good at it. Republicans suck at it because they're too concerned with trying to avoid acknowledging the issue, right? You can't pretend like what happened on January 6th didn't happen. You should just lean into it. Embrace it. Yeah, it happened. We're trying to take care of the violence, right? We want to investigate what happened. We want to investigate how all this stuff happened, right? If you do that, then you're not going back and forth with the liberal media about, oh, is the Republican Party pretending that their shit doesn't stink? No, you say, yeah, my shit stinks, but your shit stinks even more, right? That's how you reframe the conversation. But they failed to do that. And this is how you end up with this type of stuff happening. Because there's no reason why we should not investigate what happened last year. There's no reason whatsoever. It is a colossal PR failure on the Republican Party for us not to have a commission into that. It is a failure. So, like I said, man, Adam Kinzinger and his little Oscar-worthy performance, his show here, I'm not really buying it. All these politicians are fake. This whole thing really is just one big colossal scam. None of these politicians are concerned about trying to tone down on the political violence in this country and the polarization of our politics. They really don't care. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.